Hey everybody, Freddy Crocker's Kitchen, part 3, I think, of how to make tres leches. So the cake is done. And it looks fabulous. And it comes right out of the pan, which is good, because you never know with aluminum. So what we're going to do now is, this is just a skewer. We're going to poke bunch of holes in this. And those are the dogs. My helpful little sous chefs. And I'm trying to get near the outside because a lot of times that's the part that doesn't get quite as much of the liquid, which I'll show you in a second. Alright, now what I do is I generally brush the top with my hand. Now remember, on the previous video, I whipped up the tres leches part, and now I've added a little bit of vanilla in it. And since this is going to be a berry tres leches, I added a little bit of Crown Royal peach. And I'm using, this is almost 4 cups of milk. And now I'm adding I do it a ladle at a time. You just gotta go slow. You could dump it all over the top, but what happens is you do a little bit, kind of let it soak in, and you can see it. It's already starting to soak. So that's a good sign. And this is a sponge cake. So I guess the name implies it's supposed to soak in the liquid. It'll also run down the sides, which is fine. Don't worry about that. So yeah, you just put it in, you give it a little push to help it. Because you want this thing to be wet, because it's going in the fridge for just about 3 or 4 hours. And then we're going to put the whipped cream topping on it. So make sure you get it over all of the cake. You can see how fast it absorbs it. And there you go, you keep doing this. This is going to be really good. And I don't know if you could tell when I brought it over to the camera, but this cake is really, really light, which is a good sign. You don't want it to be heavy because the milk's going to make it heavier. And then, like I said, we put it in the fridge to cool completely all the way through. This is pretty cool. It's been sitting, I took the cake out 2 hours ago and just let it sit. and then used the skewer to poke holes in it. And it's important, you can use a fork. I don't recommend that. It seems to tear it up. I've also used the bottom side of a wooden spoon that's really thin, but that too can cause a little bit of a mess. As you can see, it doesn't take horribly long for this to get in there, and on the sides you can see it does pull up on the sides, and that's normal and okay. The middle always takes the milk really well, so I generally try to get to the sides where it's not quite as receptive, because, well, it angles down. It's almost impossible to get these perfectly flat without cutting the top of the cake. And if you cut the top of the cake, then you can end up with a mushy mess. So this is how long basically it takes to do this. It's about, on the sides, I'd say it's about halfway up. Maybe not even. It's not even halfway up, around the outside edges. And now we're just gonna, it's almost impossible from here to finish scooping. And there we go. So now for the next, well, first I'm going to move this to the fridge. And like I said, she's going to sit for a couple of 3 hours. Alright, now this is blueberries, and these have been washed. I'm going to dump them in. I don't know if you can see my sous chef right there. And then I have strawberries, and I'll show you what I do with them. Now I have some strawberries from my garden too that are going in this, but I didn't have enough. So you cut the tops. I just cut them in half because you can just pop them right into the whipped cream, and they give it it's just really nice. And the bigger ones like this, I'm going to actually cut them in quarters, because they're all different sizes. But yeah, you don't want real huge pieces, I don't think. Or at least I'm not a huge fan of that. So yeah, we're cutting these. And that is the one thing I really like about tres leche, is you can use any kind of fruit you want. I mean, I guess you could put bananas in it if you wanted to, but pineapple, raspberry, all of that. But this works really well. And what we're going to do is we're going to macerate these. And what that means is we're going to pour sugar over the top and let these sit in the fridge as as the cake gets soaked and cooled. Now this may seem like a lot, but when you actually get around to putting this all on there, it's just enough to cover the top and gives it that perfect fruit. You know, some people make their tres leches without fruit, and you can. I like it with the fruit. All my teacher peeps like it with the strawberries. I think some are torn on blueberries, but strawberries are definitely their favorite, just like they are with the, what do you call it, crepes. I make them homemade crepes, and I just use strawberries for that. So, yeah, this is, I'd say a little less than a pound of strawberries, give or take. All right, now macerate them and give them a sweetness that, you know, strawberries can be a little tart, as can blueberries. I'm going to use about a half cup of sugar. And you just pour it right over the top, just like this. So there's a quarter cup. And here's another quarter cup. And then what you do is I'm going to mix them all up, put them in the fridge, and we're going to let them get ready. And I don't know that I'm going to make a fourth video for this, making the whipped cream and showing you how to top it and everything. It's not that hard, but I'll post some pictures. All right, Brady Crocker out.